Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of Intuitive Angling, and really appreciate you guys checking out today's video and hanging out with me for a little bit. And guys, today I want to talk about what this lure right here represents. This is an old hellbender. This is a 70s era hellbender here. It's an old warrior. And guys, this lure and everything that comes with it, as far as the simplicity of what fishing used to be and sort of like the innocence that behind it, I want to talk about today, because we have lost that. And the further we get away from this simplicity and innocence in bass fishing, the further it diminishes the sport, not only in bass fishing, but life in general. So I've been wanting to do this video for a while. I sort of want to have a conversation about this whole thing, about how we're getting out of control with complexity and technology and advancements and all that type of stuff. And people think that it's going to make our lives better, and it works in the direct opposite way. So we're going to get into that in today's video, and I'd definitely be curious to hear your guys' feedback on that as well. Also, guys, real quick, I'd just like to invite everybody, if you haven't had a chance, to please consider hitting that subscribe button here at Intuitive Angling. It's free and easy to do so. And guys, right now we've only got like 35% of everybody that watches Intuitive Angling have hit that subscribe button. So it's a good way, it's a good free and easy way to support the channel. If you subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, share the videos, it really helps out. And again, guys, one more time, I'd like to thank everybody for using all the links that are in my video descriptions. If you guys are using my tackle warehouse link for your fish and tackle that's in every video description, and all the other links, big thank you from me and my family, because I can't tell you how much we appreciate that, the support of the channel, and definitely don't take that for granted. Okay, guys, here it is. Some of the channel regulars are going to say, "Oh God, Randy, not another hellbender video." But guys, with this lure right here, I'm going to start out with this. This is what this represents to me, is the innocence of bass fishing that we've lost completely. Now, take for example this hellbender here. When I was a little kid, probably, I don't know, 8 or 9 years old. Let me lay this scenario out for how bass fishing used to be for me. Probably about once a month, or about once every other month, my dad would take me bass fishing down at either Grand Lake in Oklahoma or Table Rock, because we lived in Joplin, Missouri, and Grand Lake was about 35 miles from our house, and Table Rock was about an hour and 15 minutes. So we went to Grand Lake more than we did Table Rock Lake. And every time we did a trip, it was the same way. Dad's best friend was a guy named Jack Thompson, who was my second dad to me. And Jack had come over like the night before. Say we were going to go Saturday morning. Jack had come over Saturday afternoon, and out in the backyard of my mom and dad's house, they had a grape harbor that had grapes growing on it, and there was a swing and some chairs and everything underneath this grape harbor. So they'd get out there under the grape harbor, and they have a Budweiser, drinking Budweiser, just talking and, shooting the shit and all that type of stuff. And Dad and Jack would pull out their tackle boxes, these big hip roof tackle boxes, that had like they folded out, and they had like 3 trays on each side of it. And they'd go over the lures they wanted to fish the next day. And most of them were like a hellbender like this, or a bomber, or a palomino, or a purple flip-tail worm. And they'd rig their tackle up. They had blue, I guess it was, I don't even know what kind of line it was, blue monofilament line on a Mitchell 300 spinning reel. In fact, just like this one right here, I'll show you. This old school Mitchell 300 like this, with blue line on it. And talk about bass fishing. And of course, me being 8 or 9 years old, just being ate up with fishing, I just loved it. I just absorbed everything and couldn't even sleep the next morning, and we'd go fishing. And that is my earliest memories of bass fishing. And there's an innocence behind that, and there's a simplicity behind that is powerful, unbelievable powerful, when you're out fishing with people you like to be around, and it's simple. I mean, you got one rod with a hellbender tied on it. You got a boat that doesn't even have a depth finder on it. It's got a trolling motor in the back of the boat, and you just go fishing. You have no idea what's going to take place. More than not, they caught them. I can't count how many, like 7 to 9 pound bass they caught down at Grand Lake and Table Rock on this hellbender here, or a purple flip-tail worm back in the late 60s and early 70s down there. Okay, so every single year, it's like as the years progressed, every single year, fishing got a little bit more complicated and it got a little bit more complex. To the point of today, it's like when I look back at 1969 and 1970 with the Hellbender and the blue line and, the spinning rod, one tackle box, and I look to see where we're at today, it really makes me sad because bass fishing has gotten so complicated and so technologically advanced and so expensive that it's taken away that innocence from it. It's taken away so much of that mystery and the unknown and the it's a different vibe completely. It's like it's not even in the same universe and it's not better. It's like a lot of people say, well, you can't stop technology. You can stop technology. It's like if you don't enable technology. And the problem that we've had in bass fishing is we've had people that have helped enable technology to get it to where it's at now, and it doesn't make the sport any better. It's like, I can assure you guys, I have fished probably more than anybody that's watching this video, guys. I've been bass fishing since the late 1960s. I fished professionally, for 30 plus years. I've been in 18 Bassmaster Classics and Forest Wood Cups. I've won tournaments, won $2 million fishing in tournaments. I've been there and I've done that. And I've fished on every level from, getting my freaking feet muddy and fighting off snakes in farm ponds with a spinnerbait to walking on stage at the Bassmaster Classic and almost winning the Bassmaster Classic a couple times and everything in between. And I can tell you from somebody that has experienced every single aspect of fishing, there ain't nothing better than those days of the Hellbender, the simplicity of bass fishing back there. And it just sort of makes me sad to see the point that we have evolved to in that. And again, it's like it doesn't have to happen. It's like it happened, gradually and progressively because a lot of people that have had a huge influence in the sport do not understand what the PowerPoint of fishing is. It's more about how to make money, how to exploit the sport. It's not necessarily that it makes it better because it doesn't. And we can see this in other aspects of life, guys. Another thing about that, I look back, it's like, and again, I'm not reminiscing like some old geezer sitting on the swing in a swing out there talking about the good old days. I'm talking about things that are really important because, again, back in the 70s, before we had all the technology, before we had the cell phones, before we had the internet, before we had all the TV stations out there, this was back when you had 3 TV channels, you had a phone on the wall in your kitchen, and people hung out with each other. It's like, I remember every single weekend when I was a kid, we would either be over, on Saturday night at their friend's house with their kids, or they'd be at our house. People sat around the kitchen table and talked. People sat outside and talked. People actually interacted with each other. And now everybody is glued with their damn cell phones. They're on the computer. They're on TV. Our fundamental dynamic of the human experience has changed, and not for the better because of technology. Now, the only thing, in my opinion, that technology, the only benefit that I have seen, period, in technology is that technological advances like in medicine. That is one good thing. But when you're talking about your day-to-day life and what makes life worth living and what makes life memorable and special, guys, we're going backwards. Technology is putting us backwards compared to where it was 50 years ago. If you're younger, you don't have anything to equate that to, guys. If you're one of the people out there that didn't even know what it was like before cell phones were invented, or didn't know what it was like before the internet or computers were around, it's hard for you to grasp what life was like prior to that. But I can assure you, it was better because it was richer. There was more of an intimate connection with people around you, more of an intimate connection with the natural world. And now we've become insulated by so much. We've become distracted by so much. We've become victims of technology. And just me being on YouTube right now is a prime example of that. One of the things about it is it's like, you have to integrate your life in the current form of technology, but you don't have to take it all in. It's like you can be very selective with that, and you don't have to like encourage all this rapidly expanding technology that degrades the quality of life on a day-to-day basis. Point of the video is what I want to talk about here, guys, is never underestimate the power of simplicity and innocence. That's another topic I'm talking about here. One of the things that just pisses me off anymore about where we are today in society is how we have lost innocence as a society. It's like we didn't have that before. It's like, yeah, there were some bad actors and bad people 50 years ago, but it's nothing like it is right now, guys. And when I see these, abusive people and people that abuse children and women and people that go around shooting up schools, I just want to freaking become a vigilante and make them all disappear. Just cut them up into pieces and make them disappear. Because when you rob innocence from somebody, guys, that is one of the most evil things anybody can do. It's like, abusive parents to little kids or something like that, where you abuse the innocence and you exploit the innocence and you take away their innocence. That we have reached a precipice in our society where that's more prevalent than ever. And there's no reason for that. It's like, I sort of got out on left field a little bit with that, but it's sort of tied with, how as we grow as a society and advance with technology, and as we get a more populous society, that this stuff goes along with it. But we just have to do everything we can to prevent that as much as possible, and just maintain that innocence, maintain that simplicity, maintain the kindness and the empathy and caring for other people. It's like, guys, when you measure intelligence, if you measure intelligence, in my opinion, people that are truly intelligent, they have number one, critical thinking skills, number two, kindness, number three, empathy, courage, just consideration for others, putting others ahead of themselves. Those are true measures of intelligence. And one of the most disgusting things that I have ever seen in my life is like, and I'll tie this back to politics again, is our current political environment. We have the most inept, ignorant people I have ever seen that don't have any of those qualities that I just listed to you, in charge of so many levers of power in our country. And, it's like if we would just go back to that way of thinking where we put value into the things that really make life better, the way you treat other people, how kind you are to other people, how willing you are to help other people out at the expense of yourself. If we would transcend to that, then think about how much better our society would be. But right now, we have so many people out there that they want their 15 minutes of power, and they want to do anything they can, to gain profit and power, even if it takes away their integrity and their soul and their just their spine. That is so rampant in society today that so many people out there are broken. And I think a lot of those people that are like power hungry and abusive and, are just on this constant thirst for control and power, they're broken people, and they have not been raised by those elements of intelligence that used to be a lot more common. That I remember back when I was growing up, and like my grandparents and my parents, that was instilled all the time. You be good, you be honest, you live your life with integrity, you live your life with kindness and compassion towards other, and you treat people the way that you want to be treated. Why have we gotten away from that so much? It's like a disease almost that we have seen. And it's time for some type of a paradigm shift, guys. We have got to have a paradigm shift on this planet to where we go back to the more simple ways and the more innocent ways and the ways that really improve ourselves as human beings and the human species. Because right now, guys, the path we're on, man, it is a path to nowhere. And I know a lot of you guys know what I'm talking about. Some of you guys may not, but a lot of you guys do. But I just wanted to throw that out there. I just saw this the other day, guys, when I saw the old hellbender sitting out there. It just took me back to that time, just that time of innocence that I wish everybody could experience. Because I was fortunate enough to I had a chance to experience that. I had an upbringing that allowed me to experience that, and I really feel sorry for everybody out there that didn't have that opportunity, because a lot of people didn't. A lot of people came from, they were robbed of their innocence at an early age. They had abusive situations, abusive households they were in, and that leads to broken people. And that leads to the type of people that you see are in positions of power right now, not only in our country, but across the globe. So just be kind, be compassionate, guys, be empathetic, treat people how you would want to be treated, and makes for a much better life, man. So hope you guys are well. We'll talk later.